Welcome to the Melanin Gamers panel at AfroComicCon Virtual 2020 event, and thank you for joining us. Please consider donating to the AFCC Moonshot Junior program that funds young girls of colour to go through a 12-month program where they will learn tech skills, innovation, product development, and entrepreneurship. Please click the donation link. Any amount will help. More information will be on the AfroComicCon website. Melanin Gamers is dedicated to increasing diversity and inclusion in the video games industry. It is more than gaming community, it's a show of support, a cry for some desperately needed change, and a safe space, an on-life and real-life community, people of colour to come together, share ideas and feel represented. We want to be seen and heard. It is a necessity in the current climate we are living in, and we believe that by creating this platform, we will be able to strive towards changing an industry so that it reflects all those who are part of it. We are not calling for needless tokenism, but a real shift in the tide from the grassroots to the very top. We accomplished this by using regularly held panel discussions, workshops and presentation on industry relevant topics which aim to empower and educate. We have previously worked with schools, colleges, businesses and major industry events to advocate the need for better representation and to provide a platform for others to access and thrive in the video games industry. Also, we hold community days where people from different races and ethnicities just come together and game without any racism. So today we have the full squad, so everybody say hi. Hey.
Hello.
Yo, yo.
Hello.
Cool. So this panel is basically, I want to go through and just talk about Melanin Gamers and who the team that's behind Melanin Gamers and what we do to go first. And I think the best person to start would be my sister, Anzi, who is the founder of Melanin Gamers, and she is the big boss lady and she is the kingpin. So Anna, so go on, Anna.
Who am I? Well, as my brother just said, I'm Anzi, or creatively Anzi, as people know me as online. I'm the founder of Melanin Gamers. Why did I find Melanin Gamers? I found it somewhere. I founded Melanin Gamers almost 2 years ago now, because just the lack of there was a lot of things that motivated me to want to just tackle the lack of representation in the video games industry, not seeing myself represented, and I just wanted to do something. What do I do for MG? How much time do we have?
What don't you do for MG?
We organize panel talks, tournaments, and the stream team. So we highlight and promote people of color, both content creators through our stream team on platforms like Twitch, and also we interview people for our podcast. On our podcast, we interview them, and we also do articles as well on people of color in the industry and content creators as well. We do fundraising. We love fundraising here at MG. Our 24-hour streams, which are very, very exhausting, but it's all for a good cause. When did I get on board Melanin Gamers? Very beginning, the inception, before it was actually called Melanin Gamers. Funnily enough, I did not name Melanin Gamers. It was my sister who thought of the idea, and I really love the term for MG, or Melanin Gamers, because I feel that it's exactly what we're about. It's an inclusive term, and I feel like everyone can be part of Melanin Gamers, and in trying to create a community that's, for people of color, for everyone, we would never exclude anyone either. So it's really good that we have allies of Melanin Gamers and that everyone knows that it's a community where you can always feel welcome. Also, depending on your skill level, if you're like a casual gamer or you want to be a pro gamer, I think it's all found in MG, because we're a community at our very heart. What else am I outside of Melanin Gamers? Melanin Gamers, my whole world. Outside of Melanin Gamers, I'm a writer. Some of the articles that I mentioned before, so I write some of those articles. I'm working on different stories at the moment, and I do a podcast where I read out some of those stories too. And that's basically what I do outside of Melanin Gamers. Not very much. Melanin Gamers seems to take up a lot of my time. But yeah, writing is one of my main passions, and baking as well. I love to bake. I like rollerblading too. And just, reading as well is one of my main passions. But for MG, we are all sort of in this together, and I really love the community of Melanin Gamers. And coming up to 2 years now, it just feels like we're on the right path in terms of MG.
Wow. So I guess I'm up next, and who am I for MG? My name is Alan, and I'm the chief researcher at MG. I also host a podcast alongside the team. What do I do for MG? So basically, my job is to make my sister's life easier in terms of researching topics that can be discussed on panels or the podcast to create a dialogue between the industry and the gamer, and most times it's the underrepresented in that kind in the layman's terms. Well, researcher can barely find his words, but anyway, when did I get on board? I got on board fairly early on. Between my sister and I, she's definitely the one that likes to play games with her friends, and there's a lot more sense of community when it comes to my sister. She plays the games for the social aspect, whereas I'm more of the lone wolf. I go on Call of Duty and I shoot people until I make them rage, but that's just me. But I also like unwinding from a stressful day with video games instead of having the pressure to perform amongst my friends, because let's face it, I'm the best, but that's neither here nor there. So my sister came to me with this idea to start a community of people of color to combat the rampant racism that occurs in the industry, especially in the field of team-based multiplayer games, which I personally attest to. So she was like, I know what we need to do to get it done. And at first I was very hesitant. I was like, I don't know, like the gaming industry to me has been this way for a very long time, so I don't know how much we can do to change it. And then my sister was like, well, if we won't do it, who else will do it? And then me, I'm a sucker for a good line, so I was like, you know what, I'm in. So what else do I do outside of MG? So outside of MG, I work in the legal industry, which is a fancy way of saying that I work in law, but I'm not a lawyer. I also study various forms of martial arts, and I'm currently studying Krav Maga. That stems from my love of comic books and heroes and the fantasy genre as a whole. I've always wanted to have do what Captain America did, is just gather all the fighting styles and make my own fighting style. And a lot like Black Panther. Black Panther has the best fighting style in my book. But anyway, and I'm quite literally a nerd, like I just did, but with a lot of personality. So basically, I love reading, I love eating, and I love fighting. I'm quite a catch, ladies. But yeah, so Koye, how about you?
Yeah, well, I joined MG like a little while after it was put together, and then Annabelle kind of approached me and said, would I like to be part of it? It was when, obviously, I'm an illustrator, should have started with that, but she wanted a logo to go hand in hand with the idea and the body of what Melanin Gamers is. So we kind of put our head together and kind of figured a way to make a logo that kind of represents what we are as Melanin Gamers. So that was a journey. It was a lot of back and forth, but we managed to come together and make something that definitely had a strong that was very eye-catching, and when you see it, you would recognize it, so that when Melanin Gamers is out there, people feel that, okay, cool, there is a community that is for me and I can feel a part of, and that was what was important. And then going forwards, I attended tournaments that we've had, panels. I never did public speaking ever before. I don't really speak in front of big crowds in general most times, so that was a bit nerve-wracking, but at the same time it allowed me to connect with people that I may not normally connect with in day-to-day life, and build a lot of ongoing relationships now through MG, and it just shows the power of a community and the power of when people all have the same goal and like mind, it's a very powerful thing, and MG kind of shows that time and time again. Outside MG, I'm an illustrator, illustrate in MG and outside, but also a gamer. I love gaming, spend sometimes way too much time gaming, especially in terms of when it's a competitive setting, I mean, there have been a lot of sleepless nights from trying to rank up and stuff. But aside from that, pretty much do art. I did used to go out a lot to museums and stuff, but that's, you know, in the climate now, that's kind of changed in general. But yeah, apart from that, I'm just me.
Hey, Donovan. Hey, Dandy. I think you're up next.
Oh, cool.
Laura.
Oh, excellent. So, I'm Donovan. I am here with Laura.
Hi.
And yeah, we're kind of a bundle pack that came in the expansion pack for Melanin Gamers.
The DLC, if you will.
Yeah. So when Melanin Gamers were doing their thing, I think it was at Comic-Con in London.
It was indeed,
Yeah.
yes.
They were doing
It was Comic-Con London.
Yeah.
They were doing a session on what was it now?
It was a session on unconscious bias,
Yes,
and
yeah.
we happened to get really lucky and get front row seats for one of their panel
Yeah.
talks.
We totally planned to go there. It wasn't down to me getting tired and just wanting to sit anywhere.
Sometimes it's serendipity, even if
Yeah.
it's not something that's essentially planned. But yeah, so the reason why our introduction to MG is a little bit intertwined is because we sat down together at that presentation, and from that experience and from coming out of it, we both realized the same thing, that we wanted to be immediately involved, and we were really impressed and excited and just energized by everything we saw, and it's something that we really wanted to get involved with from there.
And definitely, it was definitely nice to see a community be so outreached and outspoken and actually doing stuff about this sort of thing. Because there's timeless times you've heard people, they say, you know, they want to do something, let's all join together and do X, Y, and Z. But most times it just boils down to they'll do half the job
Yes.
and show no results. So with Melanin Gamers, you know, we saw the passion that these guys had.
And we saw the work as well. So that's something that really spoke to us. In terms of who we both are for MG, again, our roles are somewhat intertwined. So I myself help out on some of more of the marketing side of things, or the strategy side of things, or suggestions for edits to be made in applications, or some of the things that Donovan gets on with the digital marketing side of things.
Yeah, I'm going to say, conversely, I work on the front end of stuff. So it's the way you see stuff. It's the way you're receiving stuff. You know, it's the way you're getting the media. So me and Laura work hand to hand, making content and putting it out there for MG.
Mm-hmm. And in terms of when we got on board, it was October, I want to say, last year.
Yeah.
I want to say it was it could have even been July. I'm not entirely sure now.
I can't.
It was
Either way.
October. I think it
Been a
was
little bit of
October.
time.
Track of
It was
time,
October.
man.
Yeah, it was October Comic-Con
It
near
was
Halloween.
October.
It was October.
So yeah, almost when we were 1
All
year old.
right, here's our, where's our anniversary cake?
Oh, you're funny. You're funny.
It's on record now.
But yeah, we have been on board since then, so not quite as early as the rest of the team, but we like to think of ourselves as like DLC. So came a little bit later, but still on board now, and that's what matters. And in terms of who we are outside of MG, I mean, I can't speak for Donovan on this one, but I work in higher education in a university. I used to work as part of an enterprise team, which supported students in starting their own businesses and in learning enterprising skills. And now I'm moving on to working as part of a larger government-funded project where I work with students at the same institution and also small to medium enterprises in the same city to better help students learn enterprising skills and make them more ready for the workforce working in small to medium enterprises and working with businesses to understand what they need from students in the next few years. How about you, Don?
I'm actually a creative producer, so in the way that Laura's just explained, she builds up students to make sure that they have the right tools and know-hows to get on with their career. I build up businesses, startups, charities, and make sure they have what they need to get started to go forward in the digital world. Like it's a I could say my usual elevator pitch was like the world's changing like so fast.
Yes.
It's changing ridiculously fast that we need to be prepared to move online to do the next sort of stage and phasing online. So my expertise is making stuff like websites, it's podcasts, it's social media strategies. It's all that creative stuff.
All things digital is what I would say.
Yeah, so it's a double-edged sword though, because some people assume that I can do coding and do like video production, and a lot of it I can do, and I have a very bad habit of not saying no.
Yeah, and everyone assumes you're a magic man.
Yeah.
But and aside, sorry, go ahead if there's any more details.
No, that's not true.
You are a magic man, there we go. But in terms of non-job stuff, we love streaming. We have started our own Twitch few months back, which we're super enjoying, and we've even featured on the Melanin Gamers stream showcase a few times, which has been wonderful.
And a few other companies, podcasts as well.
Yes. The wonderful My Matter.
Yeah, My Matter is wonderful guys.
But aside from that, I love me some baking. I love me some horrible films. Like, the worse a film is, the more I'm going to enjoy it. And another hobby is putting Donovan through watching those with me. How about you, Dan?
I'm through and through creative, so if it's not doing my job, like getting paid, it's doing my job for charities and with with family who love to go the extra hour as well. And besides that, it's modding. I love to mod. Any console I have, I pretty much just spend my time to modding it. Nice. Because games are... Oh, wait, no, I can't really say that.
Oh, no.
It's just a hobby.
It's a hobby. It's a hobby. Nothing untoward.
Yeah, but I just love to do the creative stuff outside as well. If there's something I'm not familiar in, I try and find somebody who needs the asset, who needs a podcast sign-up, or who needs just a box to sell their product. And then I'll go and make it for them. Just because I like to challenge myself and grow in that way.
But yeah, I think that was...
Yep.
Perfect. Thank you, team. That is the Melanin Gamers team. Of course, I am so grateful for all the Melanin Gamers team, and just, our team is growing, and also the wider community is growing. It's an international community now as well, and we're very grateful for all the Melanin Gamers that support us, the stream team, people who we featured on the showcases, behind the scenes people, everyone. Melanin Gamers is just such an amazing network of people, and there's so many different layers. I'm very, very grateful for the team behind MG. Just all of us all working together for one goal, and the wider community as well. And as Laura and Donovan were saying, the other communities that we've been grateful enough to work with, and that we're all sort of championing the same message of diversity and inclusion, along with AfroComicCon. And so we're really grateful for that we have this opportunity to talk about Melanin Gamers and to get new Melanin Gamers as well. Because, it's amazing that we were growing, and we are always going to be growing and taking those steps and taking those leaps forward and things like that. So we're very grateful for AfroComicCon, and we just thank you everyone for listening, and we're hoping that everyone is enjoying the AfroComicCon virtual event. I'm sure there's loads of events on today, and there are links below to the rest of those events. As I said initially, please consider donating to the AFCC Moonshot Junior program that funds young girls of colour to go through a 12-month program where they will learn tech skills, innovation, product development, and entrepreneurship. Please click the donation link. Any amount will help. More information will be on the AfroComicCon website. We are MG, and the future is tech, and we promise that the future of tech is going to be diverse and inclusive. Thank you.
Thanks.